all right. What is up and how's it going? And how's your night been? Mr. Avenger here. Welcome back again to another reaction video at your service. Alright guys, I'm still behind on so many videos that I haven't got checked out with, and that, I know I am still going to be planning on doing another for Hell of a Boss, but there is unfinished business that needs to be taken care of. And as you already know, that I already reacted to part 1 of Mr. Caddy's video, which that was the latest. That was during the Halloween, or that was during around October, in which that is the scary world of YouTube horror games that's viral. Well, I know I finished that, just half of it. So, as promised, that I am going to be doing one more, in which this is part 2 as a conclusion. So, let's pick up where I left off, in which that is the Slender, The Return, and technically that is the sequel to which I prefer to call it as Slender Man, because, I mean, how else, what else does it look like to you? Because a tall, slim, and completely disturbing with that face, and that just appears out of nowhere. It just comes out with a business suit. Because look, I'm familiar of the game, but never played it, and I'll probably have nightmares of it. So let's get that one thing out of the way, and let's begin. So just a little reminder that if you're new to this channel, and if you like what you see so far, just give it a little flick to the bell. And not only that, you will be subscribed, but you also receive a notification from yours truly, your friendly neighborhood reactor man, the soul of a Japanese buffer man, the king of metal / shade metal reactor, is what I do. It may not be as 100% perfect, but it is the best effort that I could do for every single one of you out there, because this is what I love to do. And just be sure to turn on your notifications for every new video that is going to be posted on this channel. And with that, let's begin. Let's get started. But mostly, time to react.
The story here is that after an area hiker failed to report back into park staff, Slender the Arrival is basically the original Slender again, from the same people actually, but now with a budget, which means better controls, better presentation, an actual story, different scenarios and things to avoid, and a proper beginning and ending with set pieces. And you can tell those higher production values from the very start. You can now sprint while holding your torch up. And for a small team of indie devs back in 2013, the game does look really good. I'm not sure about your man's stance while walking around with his camera glued onto his face for no reason, but it's okay, it's okay. It's automatically better just from, ooh, oh, no, there he is, the man himself. Slender the Leaving. This is nowhere near as slow as the original game, good god. But this is where I will actually praise the original over this version. Yes, it's stupid and cheap that I died twice because the game just decided I lost, but at the very least there was tension in the fact that the game could just randomly be over. But here, that never happens, and Slend is even less threatening than he ever was before. He's a little more aggressive with his teleporting around, but all you do whenever you see him is walk the opposite direction, every single time, and you will never get caught. Slenderman is now the meth addict that you avoid by crossing the street. He isn't even remotely unsettling. It's like you're riding a skateboard and he's a curb. You see him, you go around him. You see him, you go the other way. You see him, you go the other way. He's a long, gangly pothole, and I'm getting sick of looking at all these pages. What is it about them, and why do you get so livid when people take them? Are you a novelist? Did you lose the only draft copy of your latest book, I Have No Eyes, But Why Can't I Get a Service Dog? Luckily though, Slendy isn't the only thing to run away from like a little bitch. There's also the scariest thing of all, a child that can't do makeup. Don't worry though, because as the game says, you can focus your torchlight to blind them. Don't worry though, because as the game says, I'm a smelly old liar. Don't get me wrong, it's still spooky though, because in this part you have to deal with the Asbo child and Slenderman at the same time. But even though that is true,
so
he comes out so infrequently that he might as well deliver your presents. Don't you love it when you come in from the cold and your house is more rumbly than the wind? Then later on, you move on from a delinquent child and end up running away from Boney M. Oh, look, Slendy's also there. Better turn around and go the other way because otherwise... Oh, right, I'm dead now. Yeah. Well, at least I know what I did wrong. And I will learn from my mistakes that I made. There's a bit here when you're in a storage tunnel under a farm and there's things in it, but none of them do anything to you. They just appear, so yay. Look, I know it must seem like I'm skimming over a lot, but I promise you I'm not, because most of the time it's just an expanded version of what we had before. You collect pages here, then you turn on generators here, then you close windows here until you get vacuumed out of the bedroom. Just because it looks a lot better doesn't make it any more engaging for me. And again, Slendytubbies doesn't do anything scary or even appear that much to mean anything. Even the trees pop up more than he does.
You're doing great.
Yes, Mother. At least I can praise the game for teaching environmentally conscious practices like conserving power, even when our main character gets knocked unconscious and dragged to a totally different location by an extraterrestrial beast. He still remembered to stop recording and turn his camera off, ready to carry on the next morning. Oh, Jesus, the forest is on fire. The forest is on fire. How do I get out? I can't see anything. Not now, Slend. I'm trying to get out of a burning forest. I don't have time to wonder how you dress yourself so well without being able to see the wardrobe. Oh, there he is. Can't go that way now. But don't worry. Just like every other encounter, you turn around, wait a second or two, and then go back where you were before. Slenderman is a scrawny barrier that always stands in the way of exactly where you need to go, and all you need to do is despawn him so you can finally cross. Oh, leave me alone, you inconvenient egg! In fact, and this is not a joke, the scariest part of the game for me was when I looked on this shed and saw that Oakside Park had 3 canoes available for rental.
Really?
Nothing else like this happened at any other point in the game, and I have no idea what triggered it. I guess because they look so similar, Slenderman's wife cheated on him with a canoe. Then after that, the second scariest bit of the game was when I picked up this note, and I was convinced for a second the game was reading my mind. You know something? I'm curious. Do you think if Slenderman ate too many donuts, then you'd have to call him Portly Man? When a stroke from boredom strikes, the damage spreads like a fire in the brain. When you spot any one of these signs, think and act fast. Face. Is their face falling asleep? Arse. Are they scratching it? Sitting. Are they doing that? Time. If you think that you see any of these symptoms, it's time to close the game and play something else.
Oh no.
Outlast contains intense violence, gore, graphic content, and strong language. Please enjoy. I like you. Here it is. The face that launched 1,000 2013 clickbaits. You are miles per hour, and you are a rough and tough alpha Chad journalist getting down and dirty with the inside scoop right from the source, with your latest report taking you to an asylum called Mount Massive, or as you could also call it, Lump Large. And once inside, you have to uncover the cruelty unleashed on the patients, expose the inhumane practices of the doctors and scientists, and avoid contamination by washing your hands before you can have your large willy meal with a Diet Coke. The game is kind of the same as the others. No way to attack, running around in first person looking for items, conserving your light source, hiding from enemies, but this time you can lean. And to give it credit, it might still be a little silly that Miles is walking around with a camera up to his eye like in Slender the Arrival, but at least there's a better purpose
miles
for
per
it.
hour.
Not only is he recording
Tails.
and documenting all of the horrors within the asylum,
I get it,
but
I
he
get
also uses the night vision mode in the camera to see in the dark, which you will need to use a lot because holy shit, this is a dark game. In Outlast, if you run out of night vision batteries, that's it. Enjoy the sensation of closing your eyes, but without the pesky step of closing them. But don't fret, there's batteries all over the damn hospital that just so happen to fit your camcorder's hole, and you'll need to look around for as many as you can because these batteries drain faster than me with cola! Drink it! Oh Christ, okay!
Yeah.
Oh God, I can't do that. I wanted to do that. I can't do. Oh,
Oh,
Yep.
love it though if a battery company actually sponsored this game, because what better advertising could they need than Duracell? They'll go for 10 minutes, probably. Shortly after the game starts and you get used to being the world's first parkour news reporter, you then get to a part in the game where they outright tell you to hide. So right, this is where the game actually begins. And shortly after avoiding the first big boy, you're then thrown into your first encounter room, which is where you notice how every sub-room has a table that you can run around, and there lies every problem I have with this game. The second you realize how every set piece and encounter room is designed with loops in nearly every room, aside from a couple of dead ends, the game quickly stops becoming about crawling around and hiding, and more about running laps around these mingers while they follow you around wherever you decided to get behind. I find Outlast to be one of the least scary horror games for that exact reason. Does that make Outlast bad? Not at all. I think it's great fun. It's a good old blood-pumping, jumpy, runny no, but I treat it more like Mirror's Edge than Amnesia, which I don't think they were trying to go for, considering, you know, soup. Sorry, mate, give me a second. I've got to put more batteries in. There we go. Not to mention, once you start getting chased around by the Johnson twins and then find out that this hulking man goomba is called Chris Walker, a lot of the horror loses its gusto. This wretched brute is called Chris Walker. Would you be scared if you were chased by a monster called Tony Smith? And as for the prawn twins over here, one looks like a spud and the other looks like a coconut with hair. The only time I think the game figured out to go full on with the tongue-in-cheek nature of what's actually happening around you was when you run into Dr. Roast Beef, who greets you by offering you to leave while you're tied to a chair and then cuts your fingers off. And the jump scares are so frequent and over the top that they become more like shots of adrenaline to keep you playing the game rather than make you turn it off from being a piss baby. And some of them are so predictable it actually physically hurts me. Ow. I was physically
I'll
hurt.
admit that it did give me a little bit of a jump scare.
It really catches you off guard. Okay, bye. I'll tell you what it is.
Okay,
the game
bye.
feels very mechanical. It feels exploitable in a way that Amnesia or SCP Containment Breach don't feel.
Oh, I see you. I'm coming to get you. I'm coming to get you. Oh, shit, where'd you go? You disappeared. Oh, well, I'm gonna go bowling.
Sure, the run-around looping strategy doesn't work all the time, and you'll take a few hits or slices or maybe even a bum, but you will always get out without dying, and that does make it fun, but to me, not very scary. Look, mate, if you're gonna die, at least don't die hanging on top of a half-open door. By the way, what point is Miles trying to prove by staying here? He's there to find out if anything bad is happening, he sees it within the first 5 minutes, catches it on camera, and then doesn't go home. Is an impaled security guard not enough for your BBC investigates? You don't need any more than this, just make like a leaf and go away like a leaf. The footage won't be usable anyway, not with all the times you shoved the mic all the way up your nose.
Maybe if I sniff more, they won't see me.
And I bet you're all wondering, what is actually going on inside this guy's head while he's having his fingers removed and injected with hallucinogens? How to make Traeger juice. Step 1. Squeeze.
Radio. So good, it's gravy.
And then there's the story, which... look, I really like the twisted experiments angle with this asylum cult that formed out of nowhere. I like cult stuff, it's creepy. Casual cultist, fall to winter 2023. Get your catalog today. You don't want to be this guy, do you? Don't get left behind. Stay on trend with our brand new puffy jacket. But along this half of the story is another half about a paranormal ghost creature that invisibly kills people. And I know that it is linked into the cult, but it just doesn't fit with, well... that. It's like two different stories are flipping back and forth between each other whenever it suits it. One second it's graphic body horror in a grounded and grimy, dilapidated asylum, and the next second it's raggy. And that leads to the final portions of the game and then the ending, which, man, nah, I don't like it. It makes me want to crap my own arm out.
I've changed my mind. I don't want this.
By the way,
Please
this
don't.
supernatural entity causing godlike destruction, it's called the Wall Rider. That's not a demon, it's a Tony Hawk trick. I will say though, if I were to ever lose my head, I would sit exactly like this.
Ooh-ee, ooh-ah-ah, ooh-ee, ooh-ee-ah. Video games are fun, aren't they? Uh-oh, I forgot. I have a family. How are you doing, kids? That's weird. They sound a lot thinner than usual.
Maybe it's because he didn't feed them?
Should I call someone? I should call someone.
Daddy, turn on the heating! I'm cold to the bone!
My boy!
5 Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, no.
I haven't heard of this one.
Oh,
Yes, it has all led up to this, hasn't it? You all saw it coming. The single most viral game, not just of this video, but probably ever, which just so happened to be a horror game from 2014. It's the one with that meme in it. You know the one, that meme.
On
Yes.
3, 1, 2... Was that the bike of 87?
FNAF came about from a guy who repurposed another game he made that was supposed to be for children but ended up being more suitable for adults, so then he flipped it on its head to make it a game that was supposed to be for adults but ended up being more suitable for children. One of the most unique and brilliant concepts ever. You are a security guard looking after a family fast food restaurant where the animatronic characters have gone wrong and they're out to rip off your breeks.
Hello?
You all know about it, so it's redundant me going into any more depth about it. But all I will say is this. Without question, this is the scariest game in this video so far. Because this was the first thing I saw on the Steam page. Then it got even scarier when I started the game, because while worrying about all of the animatronics tearing my head off, the screen itself was already tearing its own head off, so I had to quit and then force VSync on every FNAF game I downloaded. You are the security guard of a family fast food party restaurant, just like Chuck E. Cheese, but this one is called Freddy Fazbear's Piece of Shit. You're on the night shift from midnight to 6 a.m. for 5 nights
obviously
straight.
that's from
Luckily
the
for
movie.
you, during those exact hours, the animatronics have the zoomies, but with more teeth. And by the way, you can't move. All you can do to keep yourself safe is check the security cameras all around the restaurant to keep track of their positions, turn on side lights to see if Peter Rabbit is hanging out there, or shut the doors to stop them from coming in if he is. So why don't you just keep the doors closed forever? Because Freddy Fazbear is the chairman of Just Stop Oil, and he doesn't want you wasting all your power. You need to balance and prioritize everything you do to manage your power consumption while keeping yourself alive. But if you don't use enough power to keep your eye on things, then your punishment is...
That.
The same applies if you use too much power as well, except the difference is that Frederick Bear flashes you.
And that instantly, that scared everyone seeing that.
That feels good.
Here's the thing about this game, though. I don't get it. Like, I don't dislike it, but this was it? Really? This is the game that took
unfortunately,
2014 YouTube
it
G
is.
words off to the moon in views. I will admit, I love the concept and the simplicity of the execution, along with the designs of the animatronics themselves. They aren't horrifying, but they are very uncanny. At least they aren't a bag of crisps in a tie. But actually sitting down and playing FNAF honestly makes me feel like I'm working, which I know is what you're doing,
Well,
but all it boils
I mean,
down
that's what
to
you're
is quickly
supposed to be
switching
as
through the
a
cameras,
security.
putting them down,
That
checking the
is
lights,
a
closing or
technically
opening the doors
is a
if you
job.
need to, and then repeating the cycle. Am I missing anything here? I got into a cashier's trance playing this game because it's just you repeating the same menial asinine task in a specific order and doing it slightly quicker on the next night. 5 Nights at Freddy's is like working at a cash register until your boss yells at you in a fursuit.
Well,
The jumps did
given
startle
a
me, I
one
won't lie, but
perspective.
like that's all it is. I get startled every time my granddad falls out the window, but you just carry on with your day. It was a surprise. It's
why
not
would you do
terror to
that?
your absolute core. I feel absolutely no tension playing this. It's too repetitious and daydreamy for me to fully get into it. And all of this is for a paycheck of 120 smacking lips. Is your poor man
Okay,
really that
that's
desperate
not-
for money?
that's
He doesn't
not-
need
that's-
to go through this.
it-
I want to help
it-
him.
it
5
has to
Nights
be
at
a little
Freddy's
more than
security.
that.
My guy. How can I get you alone? Why can't we move? Why do we come back for more after night 1? Why can't we save power by turning this fan off? Why are there huge heavy metal doors in my room that stop all 4 members of E17 from getting in, but nothing similar built into their room to stop them from getting out? Why are the animatronics better security for the building than I am? Why don't we bring a torch with us? Why don't we have a candle? And why does Chica always look like...
The game spread like bird flu. It was everywhere. It was unavoidable. And just like bird flu, They made a sequel.
Five Nights at Freddy's 2, Pig in the City, came out 3 months after the original. That sounds promising, doesn't it? And when you play it, you can understand how. FNAF 2, in many ways, is just FNAF 1 again, but with 10 times more shit to worry about.
I don't like calling them FNAF. I'm gonna call them FANF.
You're still stuck in the middle of a building and you're still checking cameras, but now there's 3 times the threats coming after you at different times, 3 times the amount of rules each of them work with, 3 times the amount of things you need to interact with on your mouse, and 3 times the amount of times you'll end up dead because of it. On night 3, I got less than 45 seconds in and I lost. The dude on the phone hadn't even finished speaking to me and it was over. And that's if you don't keep on slipping up with your mouse. I can't count the amount of times I just wanted to come out of the security cameras and put on my Freddy mask immediately to fool whoever was in the room with me, but then buggering up the mouse movement to do that. You've got to go down to the bottom of the screen and then up again and then down to another bit. It's just silly. There's not enough actual button presses for the insane amount of new actions to perform here. Everything is done with the mouse, except the flashlight, which... Good evening. So yeah, you'll be looking around your room to check there's no one nearby, and then sliding the mouse to the bottom right to open the cameras, and then sliding the mouse over to each camera to check them, then sliding over to the new music box that needs to be kept wound up or else you lose your face, then sliding the mouse back down to where it came from to put the cameras back down, then move the mouse back up over in an arc to slide down to the other side of the screen to stick the Freddy mask on, all of which needs to be performed within less than a second to keep alive, especially in the later nights, while you're coping with all the same stuff you have to go through in the original FANF, including managing power, but now just at the flashlight, which is vital to see who is hiding where, but also scare away some of the animatronics before they come up in front of you, because now you have no doors anymore. Why can't we use more of the keyboard, Frank?
I can't keep up with this. I need to focus. Can somebody make me a flat white? Close enough.
I don't know how anyone can actually be scared of playing this when there's too much multitasking going on. I'm too distracted to worry about foxybingo.com, and I've got to use the flashlight, but only in bursts because the battery doesn't last long at all. So that means most of your game time is spent looking at the other end of your parents' camera when they've forgotten to turn the flash off. I eventually did beat the game. I wanted to see if I got anything out of the experience that other people do, but I just don't. FNAF 2 as a whole package just makes me feel like...
Again, it's not a... What? That's pretty that's pretty graphic.
The ultimate problem for me in FNAF 2 is that I don't either find it scary or fun. It's a chore for me from start to end. There's too much going on, too many places to mess up with limited controls, too many flashes. You end up making $20 less than the first game, and Chica is now thick. Oh well, at least we have some cutscenes this time. That's always nice.
It's me, Mario. Let's go. Come on, children.
What the hell?
And then 4 months later, they made another...
The third game.
Why are there so many of them? And why did they come out so quick? It hasn't even been a year. What about my birthday?
So I didn't massively get the first game, but I still liked it enough. I didn't massively get the second game and didn't like it anywhere near as much. And the third game is now the one that I actively do not like whatsoever. I couldn't stand FNAF 3. As a whole package, it just makes me feel like...
Again, another small news.
I think this game is outright bad. Yeah, I'll say it. I don't care. What's gonna happen? A load of kids gonna come after me? I could win a fight against a kid, no sweat. So it's mostly the same deal as the last 2 games. Security guard, super glued onto a chair, checking cameras, and stopping an old boiler from coming into your room. But it's a lot different. For starters, there's only one animatronic, Springtrap, and you don't have to worry about power levels or battery life anymore. But to compensate for that reasonable change, they decided to make everything else you need to survive completely random. The camera feeds that you need to see what's coming, the audio system that you need to lure things away from you, and the very oxygen that you breathe to exist can break down whenever it wants to. You're not in a building, you're in a PS3. And everything in the system crashing every so often isn't in and of itself a bad idea since you have unlimited power. They have to tip the scale somehow after all. But whenever you go over to the console needed to reboot the systems that fail, not only do they take 3 years to restart, but while they restart, you can't do anything else. Let's say your audio system breaks down, but your camera system and ventilation is fine. That doesn't matter. Once you start rebooting the audio system, you're stuck on this screen until it is done, meaning you can't go back and check the cameras or seal the vents shut to stop Springtrap from grabbing you, all because
Yeah, I
your
think
giggling
that's
child
likely
button
that
doesn't
you
work.
will
And
get jumped.
If one system is rebooting and another one breaks during that, you can't start rebooting that one until the other one is already fixed, meaning double the time spent on the panel screen, meaning double the chances that Springtrap will kill you or flirt with you. What's he doing here? Ooh, hello, don't mind me. Then in later nights, everything starts breaking way more often, way too quickly, meaning you have to rely on complete system reboots more frequently, which takes even longer and will 70% of the time be an end to your game. Should you be able to leave this screen while things are restarting? Is my copy bugged? Because no matter what I clicked or where I moved the mouse, I couldn't get out of this screen, and I just don't understand the gameplay reason why it would work like this.
But, Caddy, I hear me asking myself, there's only one monster, so isn't it already easier?
I'm glad you asked me, and no, it isn't, because at other points, which again feels totally random, you'll see a hallucination from other games that are better, and Fant3 gets so self-conscious about it that it decides to break nearly everything at once, forcing you into the same reboot panel again, and punishing you for not doing anything whatsoever. What are you, a nun? Most of Fant3 is just you sitting back, powerless, unable to do anything, and just wishing really, really hard that Roger Rabbit doesn't show up. With Fant for 1 and 2, I didn't love them, but I at least finished all 5 nights. But here, I didn't
Wasn't there
pass
supposed to be
night
just
3.
one-
I just could not be
one
bothered, and I could not
animatronic?
care any less. It's
Why
annoying.
is there 2?
Five Nights at Freddy's 3 is a nephew you hate going to see. You tell me that this game is good or scary. I dare you. You look me dead in the eye and... Oh wait, sorry, hanging out. Yeah, and you tell me this game is good or scary. It's neither. It's made for people that think Eclair stands for Electronic Claire.
At this point, I don't even give a shit about the lore, but I do have a theory that I haven't seen anyone mention on the internet before. I think they take place inside Big Ben.
Playing this game feels like being a child, pooing yourself, then your parents grabbing your head and rubbing your face in it. I'm not learning anything, I'm not having fun, and now I smell. All topped off in the end by a casual lean from Fruity Springtrap. And then they made a 4th one.
Oh, man.
The next game we're looking at is a unique case, not only because it's a scary game to play, but also because it's scary in and of itself, since it doesn't technically exist anywhere, and today, you can't legally get it anymore. But don't worry, I do have it, because I'm great. And it is stored very securely on my original 10-year-old PS4 from 2013. Problem is, though, it's been so long, I don't have the power cable for it anymore. Can somebody...
Don't worry, Caddy. I'll help you out.
Oh, wow! Look, everybody, it's my best friend, Keith Cable.
I heard you're looking for a PS4 power cable, is that right?
Yes, Keith, I just don't know what I did with it. Last time I used it, I was using it to power my washing... What's it called?
Oh, don't worry about that. I'm pretty sure I have one down in here somewhere. Wait me a second.
Oh.
Here you go, Sprout.
Oh.
I've got a cable. I've got a cable.
Really?
You don't have a cable. My cable's wet.
This is Put, the 2014 hour-long free demo downloadable for your PS4, and
Really?
literally nothing else, before being removed by Konami entirely just 8 months later after falling out with the game's main director, Big Boss. It can't be searched, it can't be re-downloaded, and it can't even be pirated unless you count the many remakes in recent times. So I must stress, unless it's on some underground emulator that I couldn't find anything about out in time for this video, PT isn't on PC, it's on PSV. The only way you are playing this game is on a physical PS4 that just so happens to have PT downloaded onto it, and that alone is scarier than the game itself. Okay, I'll call it a draw. This game is scary, man, and I can't even explain exactly why it is. It's just one of the most chilling, tense, and disgusting experiences I've ever had. And I've tried to sleep with a woman. PT is a game about waking up on the floor.
Okay.
You see a door, walk through it, and essentially that's it. You are trapped in an endless loop of the same L-shaped corridor in a house, and it's left up to you to notice what changes, how the environment reacts to you performing certain actions, and hoping that the next loop advances the story along by you doing what you think was right. Oh yeah, and you've got to do all of this while being stalked and hunted down by that.
Came from.
This ghost is Pete, named after the game, and she isn't the most aggressive enemy we've seen in any of today's games so far, but is absolutely the creepiest. You know that feeling when you're in a dimly lit house on a rainy night and you always think that this time there'll be something around the corner? Well, she is that thing around the corner, that feeling manifested. She's always there, somewhere, and if you can't see her, you'll sure as hell hear her instead. But that's not all. You'll come across a multitude of nightmare gas, like this fetus keeling over and dying in a sink. It kind of looks like a donkey. Then there's this festering bloody fridge hanging from the ceiling. Then there's picture frames with a million twitching eyes. And then there's a bag of shit that does nothing at first, but then eventually starts talking to you.
I could do nothing but walk.
Oh, the donkey baby also starts talking too, but we don't need to see any more of him.
The manager liked how she looked in a skirt.
What gets me, though, is how uncomfortably realistic the whole world is. It will age gradually worse as time passes, I'm sure, but for an original PS4 title 9 years ago, it does not screw around with how violently real everything feels, while at the same time not feeling real even slightly. And yeah, the game's puzzles have been criticized for being way too cryptic and a little bit, well, terrible. But what's great is that even if you have a walkthrough by your side, there's so many variables at work for which scares happen at what moments that you don't actually ruin the experience. It's always unpredictable and honestly hellish. You can even trigger new scares on repeat playthroughs that you missed before in case you really love wet pants. Stop it. I don't like it when you do that, Petit.
I can't handle this, man. It's so dark. I know she's there, but I don't know when she'll pop out. And the noises, please stop making the noises. Ooh, I've got an idea. I'll cut my finger off so I can't press any buttons and then don't have to play anymore. Oh, well, that was easy. Now I can keep playing the game because the button for that finger isn't needed anyway.
Oh, and you know that scare? You know the one, the most famous scare in the whole game on all of those YouTube thumbnails? Well, sometimes it happens 15 minutes in. And other times, it doesn't happen at all. And then it does half an hour later. There's very little rules or concrete patterns to Pete, and you'll find that multiple walkthroughs will tell you different things.
My God.
It's just that kind of game, and I'm loving it like Donald's muck.
But the real tragedy of the whole thing is the fact that it was removed from retail, even though it was free, and will probably never be available in its original state ever again. Isn't that a PT?
Oh my God.
And even more depressing is that the lucky few who solved all of the puzzles that involved taking 10 steps forward and then speaking through a USB microphone to a baby, then revealed that PT actually stood for Playable Teaser for Silent Hill. Suck. But now PT is gone, the project was scrapped, it'll never happen, and we got a game about a mailman instead. All thanks to the publisher Konami, who did all of this because they made the very brave choice of deciding that they didn't have enough people hating them.
Damn.
Oh no, they're on to me. The Konami policeman. Altogether, this makes PT feel like an ARG creepypasta about a haunted game on a haunted PS4, but actually in real life. And now that I have it forever grafted onto my PS4 and I'm never going to delete it, you know, I could sell it, but no. This is my PT machine. I own a significant piece of modern gaming history here.
Okay.
It's a privilege I still have it, and I'm not giving that up to anybody.
The father purchased the rifle used in the crime at the local gun store 2 days earlier.
Seeing as I only use this system to play this single game on it too, you could also say that makes this the single most expensive game that I own. But the funny thing is, no it isn't.
I don't like being American. Far too doughy. Oh God.
Well, point taken.
Is someone there? Ah, no! It's SCP-087! Help! He's going to kill me!
Oh. Well, damn.
Subscribe.
At least that the dog is chilling.
Stan, teeth are bones that live outside.
Okay. Okay. I don't get it, but okay. I don't think I never heard of PT before, and I can see how that Konami shut that down, even though that it was a free demo. And I guess that technically that this was the first of the first person perspective that I guess technically that this is before Resident Evil 7. I mean, at least that's I guess that's what I'm seeing how that where that came from, but that maybe that's just a guess. And yeah, that whatever that was, it creeped the fuck out of me. That scared me. So at least I'll admit to that I was completely horrified. Jesus Christ. And I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get demonetized for this. But yeah, Five Nights at Freddy is such a popular game that's forever been on viral, and it's been ever since then. It's been continuously, making more games, more sequels, and more than you can count. And not only that, it also did have an animation, and I think that I did recall that I reacted to a very funny a comedy, a light comedy sketch of those animatronics, and not to mention that the Five Nights at Freddy had their very first live action movie, and I hope that there will be a sequel. And spoiler alert, yes, I've seen the movie the first time, and it looks fantastic. I mean, not as expected, seeing of the gores, but it's still that is just horrifying just to look at it. So hopefully that they have not given up with one film, because it was pretty great. I think that's all I could just can give my thoughts about this, and especially Slender. I'm pretty sure that they have the games that's on the PlayStation Store. I just don't want to mess with it. I think that would be too much. So, no thank you. No mas. No mas. But I hope you guys did enjoy that, and I do apologize for not getting it sooner. And as I said before, that I promise I will get to do a Hell of a Boss reaction. Hopefully that I will get a chance of this weekend. If not, then it's going to be Sunday as a way to make things up. But hopefully that this gives you quite a few jump scares and a few laughs. And as I said, if you have not subscribed to Mr. Caddy's channel, and if you do enjoy of his videos, please subscribe and be sure to turn on your notifications for every new videos that's going to be posted, and show some love to this man, and for such a solid effort, and that it's been a while to see him, and I hope that he will be making more videos in the near future. But for now, I'm just going to chill out and just enjoy the rest of the night. But leave a like and also leave a comment down below, and I will catch y'all in the next video. So take care, guys. Have a good night. Have a good morning. And most of all, be blessed. Arigato goisamashita. Do itashimashite. Same money time, same money channel. But take care. Peace. Bless you all. And matane.